They say Elon Musk has conquered space, electric cars, and even artificial intelligence. But what if his biggest secret isn't a business empire, it's a woman? Rumors are swirling about a mysterious figure said to be Musk's secret wife. A woman so powerful and wealthy, she could rival him in fortune and influence. Who is she? How did she stay hidden from the world's eyes? Let's uncover the truth behind Elon Musk's secret wife, the woman who married the world's richest man twice. When you think about the women in Elon Musk's life, your mind probably jumps to Grimes, the avant-garde musician who gave their children names that look like Wi-Fi passwords. Or perhaps Justine Wilson, his first wife and the mother of his 6 children. But there's another woman in Musk's romantic history who has a story so remarkable, so filled with twists and turns, that it reads more like a Hollywood screenplay than real life. Her name is Talulah Riley, and she holds a distinction that no other woman on earth can claim. She married the world's richest man not once, but twice. And then, in what might be the most civilized endings to any celebrity marriages in modern history, she divorced him twice, walked away with over $20 million, maintained a close friendship with her ex-husband, and went on to build a life that many would consider the definition of having it all. Talulah Riley's journey from a 22-year-old British actress meeting a 37-year-old tech entrepreneur in a London nightclub to becoming what she herself calls Musk's perfect ex-husband is a masterclass in grace, resilience, and the art of maintaining human connection, even when romantic love fades. Born Talulah Jane Riley Milburn on September 26, 1985, in Hertfordshire, England, Riley grew up in an environment that valued education and creativity. She attended the prestigious Cheltenham Ladies' College and later pursued a degree in natural sciences at the Open University, demonstrating early on that she possessed both intellectual curiosity and artistic ambition. Her entry into professional acting came at the tender age of 17, when she appeared in an episode of Agatha Christie's Poirot in 2003, marking the beginning of a career that would see her work alongside some of the most respected names in film and television. Riley's breakthrough role came in 2005, when she was cast as Mary Bennet in Joe Wright's adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. Starring opposite Keira Knightley and Matthew McFadden, her portrayal of the awkward, bookish middle sister of the Bennet family earned her critical recognition and opened doors to more substantial roles. That same year, she made her stage debut in a revival of the Philadelphia story at London's Old Vic Theatre, demonstrating her range as a performer who could command attention both on screen and on stage. Throughout the mid to late 2000s, Riley built an impressive resume that included roles in the British comedy St. Trinian's and its sequel, where she played Annabel Fritton, the head girl at a chaotic boarding school. She appeared in 2 episodes of Doctor Who in 2008 as Miss Evangelista, a character that endeared her to science fiction fans around the world. She had a role in Richard Curtis's The Boat That Rocked, released as pirate radio in the United States, a comedy about a 1960s offshore radio station that featured an ensemble cast of British acting talent. But perhaps most impressively, Riley secured a cameo in Christopher Nolan's mind-bending thriller Inception in 2010, appearing as the blonde woman disguised for Tom Hardy's character Eames. While the role was small, being part of a Nolan film that would go on to become a cultural phenomenon and earn multiple Academy Awards was a significant achievement. In 2011, the British Academy of Film and Television Arts named her a Brit to Watch, a recognition given to rising British talent that suggested Riley was on the cusp of even greater success in the entertainment industry. Musk's friend and SpaceX investor Bill Lee had organized this trip to London specifically to try to lift Musk's spirits and get him out of his own head for a few days. The trip had not gone particularly well up to that point. Musk had visited Aston Martin, hoping to tour the facility and perhaps find some inspiration, but the CEO had dismissed him as an amateur car builder, an insult that must have stung given that Musk was pouring everything he had into making Tesla succeed. He had also experienced severe stomach pains that were initially thought to be appendicitis, though they turned out to be stress-related. By the time they arrived at Whiskey Mist, Musk was not exactly in the frame of mind one typically associates with meeting the love of your life. A club promoter at Whiskey Mist had invited a group of young women to join them, including Talulah Riley. In interviews years later, Riley would recall her first impressions of Musk with a mixture of amusement and fondness. She remembered him seeming quite nervous and shy, and she initially thought that he probably didn't often talk to young actresses. So she decided to be kind and ensure he had a pleasant evening. She later laughed at this assumption, realizing that Musk had probably spoken to many attractive women before her. But that initial instinct to be kind, to put someone else at ease, revealed something fundamental about Riley's character that would define her relationship with Musk throughout their years together. Riley was struck by how different Musk was from the other men the promoter tried to introduce to their group. While Musk showed polite interest in conversation, he wasn't aggressively trying to impress anyone or showing off his wealth. What particularly stood out to Riley was that Musk asked permission before putting his hand on her knee, a gesture of respect and consideration that she found endearing. In an era where many wealthy, successful men might feel entitled to touch whomever they pleased, Musk's respectful approach immediately distinguished him in Riley's eyes. As the evening progressed, Riley and Musk found themselves deep in conversation, and it quickly became clear that they shared an intense intellectual chemistry. Riley described Musk as very charming and the most interesting and eccentric person she had ever met. When they arrived at his hotel room, Musk pulled out his laptop and began showing Riley videos of rocket launches, not as some sort of euphemism or pretext, but because he genuinely wanted to share with her the thing he was most passionate about in the world. He showed her footage of SpaceX's launches, explained the technical challenges of orbital mechanics, discussed his vision for making humanity a multiplanetary species, and talked about Mars colonization with the enthusiasm of a child describing their favorite toy. Riley, who had initially thought "come watch rocket videos" was some sort of euphemism, quickly realized that Musk had literally meant exactly what he said. He wanted to share his passion for space exploration with someone, and he had chosen her. For some women, this might have been disappointing or off-putting, but for Riley, it was revelatory. Here was a man who was so consumed by his vision for the future, so genuinely passionate about advancing human civilization, that romance and physical intimacy took a backseat to showing someone the rockets he was building. This moment, this completely unconventional first date, set the tone for a relationship that would be deeply intertwined with Musk's work, his dreams, and his all-consuming drive to achieve seemingly impossible goals. Over the following days, Riley and Musk spent more time together, and what started as a chance meeting in a nightclub rapidly evolved into something much deeper. They went on what Riley described as a whirlwind series of dates in a single day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What happened next shocked even their closest friends and family members. After knowing each other for just 10 days, Elon Musk proposed to Talulah Riley not 10 months, not even 10 weeks, but 10 days from their first meeting to a marriage proposal. They became engaged, and suddenly Riley found herself in a relationship with a man who was not only brilliant and ambitious, but also came with significant baggage. 5 young children from his previous marriage to Justine Wilson, twins and triplets, 2 companies that were hemorrhaging money and might not survive a year, and psychological stress so severe that it was manifesting in physical symptoms. What Riley couldn't have fully understood at the time was just how all-consuming Musk's business struggles had become. During this period, Musk was experiencing night terrors, screaming in his sleep. Riley would wake up in the middle of the night to find Musk thrashing and shouting, his subconscious mind wrestling with the impossible choices he faced during his waking hours. She genuinely worried that he might suffer a heart attack from the stress, that she might wake up one morning to find a man she had just agreed to marry dead beside her from the sheer psychological and physical toll of trying to keep Tesla and SpaceX alive. But rather than retreat from this intensity, Riley leaned into it. She provided emotional support, helping to plow resources into his companies during what she called a family-wide effort to keep them afloat. This wasn't just about being a supportive girlfriend or fiancé. Riley was actively participating in the all-hands-on-deck scramble to save Musk's companies. She integrated into his family life, taking on the role of stepmother to his 5 children, and tried to provide some stability and normalcy in what must have been an incredibly chaotic household. Riley described being actively involved in Musk's world of rockets and cars and things blowing up, emphasizing that she found the environment stimulating rather than isolating. For a young woman with background in natural sciences and intellectual curiosity about technology, being immersed in the cutting edge of electric vehicle development and private space exploration must have been thrilling, even as it was also undoubtedly exhausting and stressful. One anecdote from this period perfectly captures both Musk's intensity and his underlying romanticism. On Christmas Eve, Musk realized he'd forgotten to get Riley a gift. For most people, this would be an embarrassing but ultimately minor oversight. You apologize, promise to make it up to them, maybe go shopping the day after Christmas. But Musk, in characteristic fashion, couldn't let it stand. He ventured out barefoot into snow at midnight to fetch a bouquet of flowers, trudging through the freezing cold because he needed to do something. Anything to show Riley how much she meant to him. When he returned with the flowers, he told her, "I just wanted to show you how much I love you." As 2008 turned into 2009, and then 2010, Musk's business situation gradually improved. SpaceX successfully launched its Falcon 1 rocket on the fourth attempt, securing a contract with NASA that would keep the company alive. Tesla secured additional funding and began production of the Model S, the vehicle that would ultimately transform the company from a niche manufacturer of expensive sports cars into a legitimate automotive industry player. The crisis had not completely passed, and there would be many more challenges ahead. But Musk had survived the worst of it, and Riley had been there beside him through it all. The choice of venue was significant. Musk has fond personal ties to Scotland, and the intimate cathedral setting provided a romantic backdrop that blended Riley's British heritage with Musk's South African roots. The ceremony was small and private, without the media circus that typically accompanies celebrity weddings. For a brief moment, it seemed like maybe, just maybe, they had weathered the storm and were entering calmer waters. Riley had essentially paused her own career after their 2010 wedding to help raise Musk's children, moving into his Bel Air mansion in Los Angeles and taking on domestic responsibilities that many women her age were actively trying to avoid. The story of Talulah Riley and Elon Musk is ultimately a story about the complexity of human relationships, the difference between loving someone and being able to live with them, and the possibility of maintaining connection, even when romance fails. It's about two people who tried, failed, tried again, failed again, and then figure out how to preserve what was valuable about their connection without the structure of marriage that clearly wasn't working for them. Or perhaps the lesson is simply that life is complicated. People are complicated, and relationships are complicated. And sometimes the best we can do is handle those complications with as much grace, honesty, and mutual respect as possible. By that measure, Talulah Riley and Elon Musk have both succeeded admirably even as their marriages failed. And maybe that's worth more than all the billions in the world. What are your thoughts on Musk and Talulah Riley relationship? Share in the comments and click on the crads on screen for more.